guys, how's it going? It is Nanowrimo day 15, and I am excited to let you know that I started this day out being 10,000 words behind, and now I'm only 5,000 words behind. So yeah, I edited for 5 hours and was able to catch up a little bit, although I'm still behind, but things are looking less daunting and horrifying. So yeah, I wanted to give you a little update about some things that have been inspiring me lately. The first of which is Susan Dennard, I don't know how to say your name, I'm sorry, but she has an awesome website. I think she's a published author, and she has free little templates and worksheets on her website that's under the tab for writers. I will give you a link and everything in the description bar. But basically, she has a bunch of writing advice and editing advice, which I glanced over and don't tell her, but I didn't find that stuff very useful. But one thing that I did take away from her was that she color codes some elements of her story when she's going back and editing. She has a color coding system which I love and think is amazingly brilliant. So basically the gist of it is, when she's going back and making changes to her manuscript, she has plot marked out in blue, characters marked out in pink, setting marked out in green, and miscellaneous marked out in orange. And I just happen to have these colors in pens and in post-it notes because yay, school supplies rock. So as you're working in your manuscript on the computer, you can highlight in these colors, or you can stick post-it notes in your notes or write in your notebook with these colors, and you're just noting changes that need to be made or things you want to add to that scene. So let's say that you have an idea for a character trait that you want to have in a scene, and so you would just add a pink note to that index card or in that notebook, or highlight that in the outline that you're working with, or whatever, just so that I've started keeping a running list of notes and changes that I want to do. So far it's only character and setting, which I can see at a glance because it's color coded, but anyways, I can look at this and be like, okay, what do I want to tackle today? Let's just do all the green and we can just do setting today, whatever. So that's really useful, and I think that's awesome. If you want to adopt that too, that'd be cool. And then there is Quotidian Light. She has a bunch of 2-hour-long videos on her YouTube channel that are called Nanowrimo Planning, and they are freaking awesome. I just watched the first one the other day, and I wish I'd watched them during October because I think I would have started planning a lot earlier. But anyways, they are just so engrossing. Not only is her story fascinating, I love the fact that a psychiatrist is losing her mind and having visions and just having this weird mental breakdown that she can't explain, and then there's a connection to racial identification and Victorian era asylum and mental patients and all of that jazz. It's really cool. I just love the ideas that she's coming up with, and I'm sorry, I'm really tired. I just need to kind of rest. Yeah, I think that she's really coming up with some awesome ideas, and it also makes me feel really reassured to see her go through the process of brainstorming and mind mapping and coming up with all of these things. Basically she's going through the snowflake method one step at a time, but it's taking her hours and hours to flesh out these characters and get, one sentence of a story and then expand on that into all of the different plot points and everything. And basically she started with nothing, and now she's got the skeleton of a story, and each video it just keeps progressing, and it's so great to see another writer go through the same process, and it makes me feel better about the time I spend trying to get to know my characters better, stuff that doesn't feel like writing or editing, and so kind of feels worthless, but in the end it actually does really help, just like really going through and getting everything down and just working out the details is going to make your writing that much better, and also to have a written record of all of the facts of your story so that there's not as many inconsistencies from the beginning. It just makes me wish that I'd done all this work like 2 or 3 years ago, but I'm doing it now, so but yeah, the thing that I find the most useful from her videos is her character sheet template, which she showed in Scrivener, and I'm not sure if she actually came up with the questions for it or if that was from somebody else, but I'm gonna go ahead and give her credit anyway. Basically there's just like a couple things which I will share with you. It's very, very simple. Basically you just have the name of the character, their role in the story, a physical description, their personality, and she breaks that down into outside and inside. Outside would be like the face that you show to the outside world when you're around people that you don't know, what are you like, and then when on the inside, like who are you when you're just alone or with people that you know very well. And I think that's great because it's very true that everybody is a lot different when they're by themselves and with other people and with other people that they don't know. So it's great to break down the personality that way. I haven't seen that before. And then there's habits and mannerisms, background, and like their character arc throughout the story. Then there's internal conflicts and external conflicts. There's their fears and desires, and then there's a place for notes. And then you can also add like a picture of an actor or an actress that reminds you of your character, and so they're just, it's very basic prompts, and you can take that template and expand it out into as much information as you want. You can just fill in the blanks. Like for instance, a minor character, it might just be good to have a very basic sheet on them that just has a sentence answering each question. And then for one of your main characters, you might have like 10 or 15 pages just answering these questions. Like you could go into so much depth. There's just, you can take it as deep or as shallow as you want. It's really customizable, and I really, really like that. And so what I'm working on now is taking every single character that has a name in my novel and giving them a character sheet of their own, and it really makes me more interested in each person when I can get inside of their heads, which for some of them I haven't done before, and figure out their fears and their desires. What do they want out of the story? What's really going on from their perspective? Which is really interesting because most of the time I'm just stuck in Daya or Adley's head, and I'm just thinking about, what's going on with them, but these other people are swept up in the story as well, and they have thoughts and dreams, and I might even come up with plot points or conflicts that come from what they want or don't want from stuff that's happening around them, which can complicate things, but it can also make things more complicated, which could be good. So we'll see about that. And I also want to kind of use this template for each of my settings as well. That's something that I'm really not great at. I can see a town or a cottage or a mansion like in my head really well, but I don't know how to describe them at all. And so it'd be really helpful to just, you know, have a dedicated page to everything I know about Old Bailey, or everything I know about the cottage that they live in, the layout, you know, what the name of it is, who lives there, the history of the town, whatever, so that when I'm going back and editing, I can not only have all of my facts straight, but knowing the layout of the place and being able to visualize that more clearly and consistently would really help me as I am trying to nail down those scenes that actually take place in the setting and kind of strengthen that part. I think I'm really good at characterization, but right now they're just, you know, really fleshed out characters sitting in a blank room or, you know, a blank town, and so I need to beef that up, but that's going to be a lot of work. I have a lot of different settings and places and houses and towns and all that jazz, so I'm just kind of making a lot of work for myself, mostly like busy work, and kind of trying to avoid starting actually editing. But yeah, since I already made a video about my character Gabriela, who is Daya's mom, I made that whole video about how, like, basically her whole background story, and so I shared my character sheet on her, which so it doesn't give that much more information away. And I shared it through Evernote, and so there's going to be a link in the description bar, and hopefully you'll be able to see the template of the character sheet that I'm talking about, and also an example of it filled out. But I've never shared anything with Evernote before, so I don't know if that will work, so please let me know if that doesn't show up for some reason, and then I can just copy and paste it into the description bar itself. So I have probably bored you enough. I'm boring myself right now, basically falling asleep. So I will let you guys go, and I will talk to you later. Ciao!